Hey, beautiful people. I'm Mila.
Hey y'all, I'm Monika.
And thanks for joining us.
Greetings, fine people, and of course, greetings to you, sis. How you doing this evening, Monika?
I am balanced and aligned.
Well, that is the mantra for 23. So I am happy to hear about your balance and your alignment. We are all hoping to be. That's why we are gathered here today to discuss what's going on, a little bit of pop culture, a little bit of life. And you know me, I know that you have had a busy week. But what would you like to share with us? How you doing?
I am much gratitude. I
Mm-hmm.
am alive. I am safe, and I am back in the States. I had
Mm,
a adventure in Cancun, Mexico,
mm.
celebrating a dear friend, sister's 40th birthday celebration. So,
Well, welcome to 40 for your dear friend. I saw the I saw everyone's lives and everything, and it looked like everyone had the time of your lives. So, happy birthday to your friend. And of course, I'm happy that you are back stateside, safe and sound in one piece. Everyone who knows Mila knows I do have an opinion on third world countries for vacations, but I'll just leave it like that because some people might say Cancun's not a third world nation. If you're on the resort, no, but but
right. If you're on the resort, no. If you in an Airbnb, you with the local people, but that's another day, another story, another adventure.
thank you. I said we love a good adventure, and of course, my week has been abundantly blessed, and so I really had, it's one of those things where sometimes when you just go, Lord, I surrender, he just shows up and it's like, why was I even trying to stress myself out? I know who is in control. So,
Let
um,
go and let God.
truly, truly. So, okay, well, I like to hear, all those good things. And this has been an interesting week. To say the least, on the Saturday the 21st, we kicked off the Lunar New Year. So it's officially the year of the rabbit for anyone who is into the lunar zodiac. I just think it's fun. The animals, not
Well,
anything that
the rabbit is fertility.
fertility, luck, fortune. A
Uh-huh.
rabbit's foot. You were telling me a story about a rabbit's foot
Oh.
once. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I my keychain, I have a purple rabbit's foot, and I've had that rabbit's foot since I was like in middle school. Like it's
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Go ahead with it.
No, I found it probably like a few months ago. I've had it forever, so I keep that on my keychain. It's just something that I grabbed when I was younger. It just gravitated toward me, so I have
hmm
it.
And look at it, it hopped back in your life just at the right season, literally.
Right,
Yeah.
for real. Okay, we manifesting something over here.
Yeah, I like a balanced alignment. I'm talking about abundance. So, girl, we were
Hmm.
talking about the year of the rabbit before we knew what to call it, the year of the rabbit. So,
Okay, that is true.
we've been on that. So that is wonderful. And of course, not only is it the year of the rabbit, there were a lot of celebrations. Of course, there were things that were tragic that happened, and we send out our prayers and our condolences to families and to people lost. But you know what?
Yes.
On that, we don't want to focus on that right now. You can watch the news if you want to go on a bad trip. We're trying to go on a couple of funny trips, I mean, a couple of good kikis and some laughs.
Of
So,
course.
so
Yeah, but I mean in the interim, you
Mhm,
can, light a candle for the,
mhm.
for the loved
Lost lives,
ones. Yeah,
yes, yep.
and say a prayer, whatever you do. So,
For the ones that are injured, that's very true. So, kind of with that energy, it is award season. And so, I definitely want to go over that, make sure that the people are aware because if nothing else, I like to be able to talk mess about things. Remember last week when I said aunties love tea? That is the truth. That's the truth. I love talking people's business.
but I literally love my tea, y'all. So if y'all want to send us some tea, go ahead.
Oh my girl. Speaking of that this
Loose leaf
week,
tea, tea
thank you.
bags, organic. Make sure I don't mess with all that chemicals and stuff. Okay.
You heard her request. But I was saying, speaking of that, yeah, I tried a great tea that you sent me this week, loose leaf as well. And it was wonderful. I actually, I love a good Arnold Palmer, a little lemonade and a little tea. not, I don't need sweet lemonade and I don't need sweet tea, but it's just they just work together so wonderfully for me. So
Oh, well, you know what? That can be the black business. We'll link it. I can't
oh,
remember the name of it.
but we'll get it together.
Right.
Oh, but okay, we're gonna be shouting out some black business this week. Okay, well, that's good. Well, before we get into our whole award season journey, because there's a couple of awards to actually go through and go over, and there's a lot of buzz in the air, and then of course I'm upset because there's some big snubs. I feel. Let's talk about my girl though before we get too deep into this thing. Did you hear about Beyonce?
Beyonce. Oh,
That was
I've been
Monika.
drinking. I've been drinking.
Honey, you know what? She said I was in Dubai. She said I might not have been drinking, but I was cashing them Trump checks. Okay.
Okay. Well, do what you gotta do.
Oh my goodness. I've seen a few photos because cameras and video phones weren't allowed inside the actual concert. It was an hour. It was for a hotel opening in Dubai. And it's reported that she made upwards to $30+ million for that 1 hour. So I mean, and the audience was packed full of celebrities, and of course her husband, they said, was watching from the balcony of their room, and I'm just like, oh, Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. It feels
Girl, I'll
good
be
to be
like,
alive.
okay. I'll be like, you know what? We're gonna push back the tour for another year because I don't need to work the rest of the year.
In January, honey, by January 20th, you had made all the money you needed to make, or January 24th, you had made all the money you needed to make for the year. Yeah, just a cool 30 mil, just for an hour in Dubai, not doing too much.
Lord have mercy.
She looked good though. At her dancers, I mean, it looked like it was going to be a theatrical show because
Mm-hmm.
there were so many, dancers, and I just it looked amazing. I was like, if this is a sneak peek, if this was practice for the tour, I'm ready. We already discussed, so we are there. I don't miss the Beyonce concert
Right. Well, they
because
also have probably had some limitations since they were overseas in the Middle East
yeah,
as
because
far
what
as what they could,
do
shake
and
and twerk.
wear, yeah.
Mhm.
That's true. I just was thinking about when one of your favorites, Janet, was married to a conservative man. Her whole look changed up a bit.
I mean, you might as well just say he was Muslim.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was.
Hmm.
I know what I was saying. So he was conservative in his attire, and her being a good spouse, I felt like without losing her identity, she did
Right.
cover up more in a respectful way while she was married, and that
I
makes sense.
mean, that was the business contract, girl. I mean,
Ooh, girl.
when you get down to it, was a contract. She did her 5 years. She pushed him out of sun, and she got her $500 million. I ain't mad at her.
Oh, so that was a wait. How do you say it? There's a covenant relationship and there's contractual relationships, and so it sounds like
She
you're
was
letting
what
us know she was in a contractual relationship, Monika.
she was one of his wives. He had more than one wife.
Wait, what, girl? Wait, come back with that tea. Wait, circle back, because I never dug too deep into that because I was like, if she wants to go down that rabbit hole, power to her. But are you trying to say that Janet signed up to be a sister wife?
And girl, he had more than one wife.
So now,
She wasn't the one and only. And I mean, if that was the contract, I mean, you might as well slide that over to me so I can write my signature on it. You just want 5 years and you're not gonna bug me like that?
yeah,
Boy.
wow, yeah, and then I get my baby that I wanted because we don't know what kind of miracle whatever happened, but she got her baby. She got her 5 years. I mean, she already had money, but you know
Right.
what? We can always collect more. People are not turning away money. Like I don't want
Mm-mm.
no, don't I don't want that money, please. So okay,
I mean, he was
I'm here for
I've
it.
waited 5 years for something before. I mean, and it wasn't even look, 5 years go by quick and it go by slow. So I mean, yeah.
I said, girl, I've been celibate for 5, 10, 15 years. So girl, yeah, that's easy.
I don't know about
So
that, but I
yeah,
have
well, I
waited
mean,
5 years for something else.
yeah, well, 10 or 15 might be a stretch, but girl, I did a good 5. I was like, oh, what? But it depends on what you're doing too.
Hmm.
I was around enough people where I felt stimulated, even if I wasn't stimulated.
Well, that's a whole nother episode for
Girl,
Patreon.
sidebar, girl, that's sidebar.
Go
I
ahead and
know,
table
honey.
that.
But okay. So the girl, you already sidebarred me to the super left because I'm really excited about that upcoming show, Seeking Brother Husbands on TLC. I will be there for every episode. I've seen at least two sisters that have their little stable of husbands and brother husbands, and I cannot wait to watch that drama. I've always been the kind of woman that says, I guess I just call it equal opportunity in the sense that if a man can have two or three women, a woman sure knows she needs two or three men. You need the one that can actually fix and do stuff, the one that could laugh and have conversations with, and then you definitely need that someone who knows how to, get your back worked out. So you got to have all those things. So I'm really here for that, but I can't believe Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, sister wife, but I get it. So now if Janet could be a sister wife, maybe you should make sure that you have a good contract in your life.
I mean, I had a, I had a, had a friend today. She's like, "What's the status of Odu?" Or the other
Hmm.
friend. She was, "You still gonna relocate?" Or I was like, "I don't know about that." I was like, she was like, "Hey, if it was like, if he was a millionaire, I might rethink that." I was like, yeah, but you know what? I'm on my way to millionaire status. See
On
me in
your
about
own.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said I don't need a man to do that. No,
No.
but Janet's man was a billionaire, and that's that oil money. So they were talking. They had a whole different conversation.
Yeah, 500 million ain't nothing to him.
That was girl. He probably that probably was like the animal budget on his one of his estates or something. Like for the exotic
Girl.
animals and the creatures just to upkeep the grounds. I mean, oh girl,
I'm
that's a
not,
whole
you
nother
know
level.
what? Whatever
Hmm.
makes people happy, and as long as it's not impeding on anybody else's happiness, you know what I'm saying? Do you, boo? Do you? Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? That's between you and God or whoever you
Hmm.
worship. That
Thank you.
ain't got
Yeah.
nothing to
To
do with
do with
me.
me. Girl, honey, I'm gonna definitely have enough to tell Jesus on my own. When I'm standing there, I won't be worried about none of your business. Guarantee it.
Mm-mm. So
Guarantee.
that's what
Yeah.
the sister having the two husbands. Do
Hmm.
you, boo? If that works for you, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, girl, I love it. Thank you for co-signing that because I definitely. That's why I always enjoyed having a little bestie that didn't want to be in the bed with me, who we both wanted the same thing, honey. Because, whoo, yes, I definitely think you got to have a lot of male energy at times. So, I can't wait to watch that. I will definitely be keeping you updated. You know how I love a good 90-day fiance or a good seeking sister wives, which is always a hot mess because men think that they can handle the emotional straight because having a sister wife is not just I'm gonna get to have sex with a bunch of women. And I think when men go into that with like I'll get variety, it'll be the spice of life. They're always disappointed on those shows. Those relationships always fall apart because there's more to having a relationship with multiple women
Than
and
just
caring for,
sex.
yes, and caring for their emotional needs and then being the husband role that you are claiming to be or portraying yourself as.
But
So yeah.
let's pull it back. Like, and
Mm.
I've just is just be because of my experience and when the age that I got married, people getting married so quick, like pull it back. Y'all both need individual counseling, separate counseling. You need to really think about why you are getting married. Like,
Hmm.
why? Why are you getting married? Because you
And
love the person?
hmm
You could love the person on the bus. You don't have to marry them.
no, but we're not saying that we're against marriage, but we're just saying
No, I'm just
think about that
yeah.
union. Yeah, why
Yeah,
is it
think
important? Are you doing it
right.
for your friends, family status? Are you societal pressure?
Are
Like
you doing
what
it for
is the
your
reason?
ego, selfish? Like
Hmm.
what is it? Because if you doing it for your personal sanity, then that's not what marriage is.
Mm-mm. That's a whole
No,
nother
ma'am.
person. That's a whole nother person that you're
Right.
aligning with that you don't have any control over. So you want to make sure that's a good person to go into partnership with. That's what I'll say.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because love grow. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, yeah.
it's not back in the day like when people were rearing farms and they having these, families with all these kids. Because some people be like, well, back in the day they had all these kids, and they had farms. My
Mm-hmm.
grandparents had farms. That's
Mm.
why they had a lot of
Kids.
kids.
Well, say it like you mean it all. I was like, yeah, no, we're not. Well, some people are having big families still, but for the majority, people are not shooting out 5, 10, 15, 20 kids just to do it. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, definitely, I love that. That's a good word right there. So check your motivation for your marriage, or for your desire
Yeah,
to be
or even
bound
in a
to someone.
relationship, but yeah, bound to
Mhm.
someone. It doesn't even have to be marriage. In some
Mm-mm.
type of committed relationship,
Mhm.
or
Yeah, because I might be like Brandy. I might just go to the pier under the moon and say, I'm married to you, and then we're done. It's a wrap. I'm not signing no contracts because I'm always protecting my interests. I mean, a lot of bosses are doing that now too,
right, it's a
ladies. They're gaslight.
spiritual marriage.
They're gassing. I won't say they're gaslighting, but they are gassing these men up with these whole, because men are getting excited. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's a spiritual bond. Yeah, no. When the woman is like, let's go outside under the moon and like say some words to each other. Sir, you're getting gassed up. She's protecting her interests. She's not even worried about that prenup. She said he's not tied to me in any way.
I
But
mean,
they,
she protecting her and him. I mean, he
yeah.
he he ain't tied to her, and she ain't
Hmm.
tied to him, and he definitely ain't gonna get nothing from her.
Well, but you guys better watch out about that palimony. I mean, you think he's not gonna get anything, but if he's getting mail at your address and he living with you and you cohabitating and he can prove it, and you in the wrong state, you
You in
still
the
might have
wrong
to give him some
state.
of your money. So you decide what's the best for
Lord, look,
you.
make sure your house is in your own name. That I did do.
Girl, and that we've been
Next.
talking about. Look, at we've been talking about. Wait, I feel like for the last couple of weeks we've been talking about make sure you securing your own bag, and then everything else will really work out. So
Right.
so then on that note, we'll start off with these awards. So we've already gone through the Golden Globes, and Gerard Carmichael was the host for that. And I know you're really not into necessarily watching the long award show. I do that so I can, like I said, talk mess, because that's what I like to do from time to
Mm-hmm.
time. But I know you keep up with the fashion, the makeup, the looks, the trends like that. So from what you can remember, because also you've been around, you've been out the country now, so who knows if this is fresh on your mind. But did you remember anything that stood out to you from the Golden Globes?
I saw Angela Bassett. She looked extraordinary, beautiful.
Yes, yes, and I believe, and she took home a Golden Globe as well, which was really nice. It's like this Wakanda Forever is getting a lot of recognition
Mm-hmm.
for its theatrical ability, not just the action and the kind of superhero franchise part of it. It's
Right.
like they know that the people in Wakanda, they can act. They're actors in the Wakanda franchise. So shout out to her. A lot of people thought that I heard mixed messages about Gerard as a host. I feel like he really went in there and ripped the band-aid off, and kind of addressed the fact that the Golden Globes is not a diverse body. The people who are deciding things, and it's really interesting because once you've been called to the curb for not really being diverse, and then all of a sudden it's like the next year you nominate anything but minority, like what? Was this even the film to nominate? Are you just trying to placate people by mhm.
Overcompensate to the
Mhm.
max.
Yeah, like please don't do that. So that was kind of my
It's
take.
kind of like they kind of being petty, shady at the same time. They're like, oh, so okay, so y'all just want okay, we're gonna do this, 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 this.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, to me, I felt like kind of circa, and we're gonna hit the Academy Awards as well. But it was kind of like that year that Denzel, Halle, and then Sidney Poitier got a
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime Achievement. I was like, oh, so you're just checking off every black person,
Right.
because we all nobody knocks that people deserve their awards, but it's like, would we have given Denzel that award for Training Day, or would it have been Hurricane, which he was nominated for like the year before, 2 years prior to winning for Training Day? They didn't give him the award for the body of work that took theatrical acting, and he transformed his body and his face, and he had his eye wandering, and he really portrayed that character of Hurricane, the boxer who was in prison and all this other stuff, versus the corrupt cop. I mean, even
No, that's
though,
what I'm saying. It's kind of like condescending. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna you complaining because we didn't give you awards, so we're gonna give you an award, but we're gonna give you an award for this movie.
Yeah, and for the movie that really had, little
It
integrity
should have
or
been Malcolm.
value,
It should have been
the
Malcolm
Malcolm
X,
X.
but they don't want that in their history books. They don't want.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
they don't want to give him award for that.
And for real, I mean, look at how long it took Brother Spike to get the award. He just got his first award like last year or whatever. I'm like, come on now. For real, for real, for real. So,
But
yeah,
that's why we have the NAACP and the
P
other
award.
award shows
Yay! And that's what we're going
waiting
to be
for
talking
all
about
these
next.
other people to
Acknowledge us. And it's not worth it
Mhm.
because, like I said, they acknowledge Training Day. No, granted, Training Day was directed by a Black director, Antoine Fuqua, and it
And
really set him off. It was
it was a
good.
good movie, but was
Yes.
it worth a
Academy
award?
Award?
No.
No. We've all seen Denzel do a better. I mean, come on. But, and then a lot of people didn't see Monsters Ball. No, I did see Monsters Ball, the one that
Saw it once. That was enough.
I saw it once, and it was a really not a great film. I
No.
mean, no, it wasn't. I like Billy Bob Thornton. I like the Heath Ledger was in there. I appreciate the actors. Diddy had a little role in there, or
Mhm.
Strange Love, or whatever his name is now. He was in there. So yeah, Doctor Strange was in there, and so it was like really a wonderful thing. As far as the cast, but the movie, the script, it was not great. And then
No. I feel
the
like was that her initiation film just to girl.
it wasn't the first time she was. I mean, to me, she personally, Halle did a much better role or better job acting, like transforming herself. Because when I think of acting, I'm like, transform yourself. Yeah, I might see a little bit of you in the role, but I want
Right.
to really buy what you're selling here. Like, you be a salesperson. That's what a good actor is to me. You're the ultimate salesperson. You're selling me on that role. To me, Jungle Fever, Spike Lee, her and Samuel L. Jackson as the crackheads, man, it doesn't get more.
Mhm.
That Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, okay?
Right.
Because honey, she she did that role. She earned it. She really showed that she could act. I'm not just gonna be a pretty face. And for Monsters Ball, though, I did realize when she was gonna get that award, and I was sitting in the theater because yes, I saw it in the theater.
Mhm.
When she started beating her fat son about that candy bar, Halle was making the best of a trash script because because when she started beating that brother, I knew all the frustration. I mean, she was putting in more life than the script had, because the script probably said, and then she hits her son. She hits her
Right.
fat son. No, you knew the frustration. You a black man in America. You 1,000 pounds. You don't have no discipline. We poor. I'm barely making it. We about to be home. You mean like you could just feel all of her frustration with that beat down. And so I was like, oh, she gonna win an award for that, because people like to see people get beat up. So
Exactly.
and then of course whatever happened in the movie happened. But yeah, so that was my take on that. So now moving right along to the awards that we really are excited about, the awards that I love because they're for the people, by the people, and you can vote on these awards. And I will be definitely voting because I feel like there were some snubs at the Academy Awards that we'll get to in a moment. But it's the NAACP Image Awards, which will be live on February 25th. So that's when everyone can, it's a Saturday at that. And of course, it'll be on BET. But you can catch those awards on February 25th. Now, let's talk about these Image Awards, girl. Who are you excited to see get nominated?
Look, everybody.
Yeah, I know, because it's like it's all black. I said everybody, we're all excited, and what's great about it is they have things from television and streaming, literary, directing, writing, podcasts. I
I'm
mean,
excited about the podcast category because you already know one of my favorite podcasts besides ours
mhm.
is the Friend Zone podcast. So I'm be rooting for them.
Yes, and I'm going to be excited about that as well. And do you know, they even took the time to nominate or to make sure they included Emancipation with Will Smith. And I know that's kind of controversial, but they
Mm.
said it's not the person, and we don't judge a person, because you know how the community is. We are forgiving for the most part, unless your
Right.
initials are KW, and we not sure if, or YW now. We're not so sure if we as forgiving, but other than that, we are pretty forgiving. So they said don't count it against Will on his worst day, and it's the film, it's the body of work, it's all the actors, it's the director, it's everybody included. So they
Mm.
didn't shun emancipation.
Did you
So
watch it?
no, I did
Okay.
not. Did you?
No, I don't watch slave movies anymore.
Well, he said it was a freedom movie. Remember that?
Slave freedom. If you no, if it's any movie that's depicting 1800s, I don't watch it.
Oh wow. Okay, let's get into that real quick because I'm just curious. I mean, I like history, so seeing a slave movie to me doesn't probably impact some people the way it might because I know you're empathic, so maybe it does something different to you. Because I just look at the historical context and I always wonder, could it have been more accurate? Did they, show enough of the cruelty? Are people understanding? Are they shocked? And also inspired. Like, are you inspired because this is, in spite of all of this is where these people are. In spite of all of this, I mean, so I guess it depends on how you look at
I've
history.
I've seen enough. I've seen enough.
Tell me,
You
what
know
slave
you
movies
know
have you
you
seen? No,
you
because you sound like Snoop Dogg to me. So I want to know, what slave movies have you seen that have really impacted you?
what Amistad. I've seen. You can go down the list, all of them until 12 Years a Slave. I didn't watch that. So 12, anything beyond 12 Years a Slave, I haven't watched.
Okay, and 12 Years a Slave was one of the few films. I mean, it had a few extra little pieces added here and there for theatrical effect, but it was based off of a book, based off of a real man's experience. And my takeaway for 12 Years a Slave is, why trust people who are not trustworthy? That man, that man, if I was a free man in the 1800s, you couldn't pay me enough money to go down past the Mason Dixon line. Like, there's no reason why I'm even heading south by 2 states because Maryland was a slave holding state. So no, no. So I don't, 12 years a slave. I said, sir, you were free. You were free. They knew you didn't have no marks on your back. The first thing they did was whip you so that you could have the marks. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Amistad though was inspiring. I mean, those people fought for their freedom. They took over a ship. I mean, that was inspirational. I mean, that was a great historical context. So I think people get tired of things, but I don't think.
It honestly, it enrages me. Like I
Mm,
don't need to watch things like that.
okay.
And what I'd be wondering is like the actors who are on the Caucasian side, do they really enjoy playing these roles?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so because I remember
I'm like,
they
how do you get in character to play these roles? I really want to know on the
no that
Caucasian side.
well because they've been playing Django a lot, right? And, Leonardo DiCaprio's in there, and I really don't. In my heart, I don't think that he is. I mean, I don't know the man. I mean, I've seen Blood Diamonds, and you see all the girls he jump around with. I don't know if I think that he's actually a hateful person in his heart. But I definitely think that with Django Quentin, they took liberties with the exaggerations. It was over the top, and I can't believe it was such a hit at the time. Sometimes I watch it and I go, "What the heck?" But once again, Samuel L. Jackson delivered a spot on performance as a Uncle Steven. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Django. Yeah.
because it was
Hmm.
wild nonsense. I mean, because it
Right.
was wild nonsense. I mean, there were some true parts. I remember, I've been talking about that movie Mandingo, that whole
Hmm.
60s, 70s exploitation type film on slavery. Uh, the whole concept of them fighting people, the slaves fighting to the death for sport for the slave masters or the owners. I found that to be really interesting. But I will say, I think that's why people make the argument about football from time to time, really how it sounds. Your owners, your players, and how the players don't matter, the players' lives don't matter, players'
I
bodies don't
mean,
matter, and they go, "Oh, well, we're feeding them." Yes, they gave the slaves the best of the food,
right.
of the slop, and they let them maybe have a winch or two. So they were compensated as well for having to kill someone else for your sport and
Hmm.
entertainment. So I
I
mean,
mean,
I
they still
understand
getting
that
the players they still getting nickels compared to what the owners are
owners are
pulling in
getting. Say it
billions,
again. Thank you.
billion
Say it
and
again.
trillions.
Yeah, there's a difference between a million and a
And they
billion.
don't have any type of like retirement thing set up. Like they got to set up their own. It's like with that type of franchise, with that type of, you know, company, you would think they would have like an in-house but whatever. That's a whole nother.
Another story, because they don't care about them, because you can get
No.
traded at the because you can get traded. You
Right.
know, but you know what? We own you until we don't want you no more. If you get hurt, if you're old, we'll put you out to pasture. Oh, girl, sorry, we done sidebar, but
I
at least
mean, shoot, sounds like a plantation to me, but
yeah, I was
anyways.
just gonna. And so I know that there's an argument. I know some people are like, that's why I don't watch football. I'm like, well, no, I can appreciate it as a sport, and I can see the good as well as the things that are problematic.
Right.
But okay, so it all started because you said no more slave movies for you, and I respect that, because I respect you. I won't be asking you to see Emancipation, because I'm not going to see Emancipation, and it is partly because of Will, and partly because it doesn't seem interesting. When I heard those, I was just like, ugh, no, I can't do another trash movie for no reason, and I can't let someone hype me up about a trash movie, and then I watch it and it's trash, and I can't get those 2 hours back. I just
Exactly.
just I don't want to. I was like, I will see a slave movie if it's going to be interesting, because Woman King, which I think is one of the big snubs from the Academy Awards, which I'm glad the NAACP Awards did not do, but I think
Well,
they snubbed it, but it was from the 1800s, and I think people were so worried. See, that's why I asked you that question about
I
why
enjoyed
don't you want to.
I enjoyed the Woman King because it wasn't from the place of like U.S. American history slavery.
And see, that I was just going to make that point. I love it, Monica, because I was going to say, you're saying, and you don't want to see slavery movies, and I think that's why a lot of people were off put about Woman King, because less than 2 months later, everyone went and blew up Wakanda Forever, when it's the same continent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda's warriors are actually inspired by the true Dahomey warriors
Right.
of Woman King, but people were like, "Oh, that's going to be a slave movie, or it was written by white women." I was like, "Oh Lord, you worried about all the wrong things." Okay, you're not supporting the actors and actresses that are there that all look like you and your aunties and your mama, but you
Mm-hmm.
worried about the small stuff. But no, so that's why I was like, Woman King is set in the 1800s, but it isn't a slavery film, like you said. It doesn't. Slavery is a backdrop, because
Right.
it's an economic system, and you have to acknowledge that countries and people need to have resources to compete in any global society, and
I
even
mean, there's
at that point.
slaves today. I was watching a video on IG and the guy was like, he asked this guy, he was like, "Do you own any slaves?" And he was like, "No." But he was like, "So the watch you're wearing, the clothes you're wearing, and something else, and the diamonds or something like that, slave labor was used to manufacture all those. So technically, you do own slaves."
Well, I mean, I tell you this, when women are trafficked, sometimes,
Right.
they'll refer to it when the court charging documents as a form of slavery.
Right.
They do, traffic people. So yeah, not only, like you said, the diamonds and all the things that you get for cheap or slave labor, then,
Mm-hmm.
actual people being exploited for their bodies,
I mean,
that's, yeah.
technically the iPhone, but I digress.
Girl, well then I want you to put down your iPhone. Go
No,
ahead and do
I'm just saying, you know.
You start the iPhone boycott, girl. I'm gonna watch you do it. I'm gonna cheer you up on this. I'm gonna keep using mine, but I'm gonna be like, "Yay, sis, I'm with you," because that's what I mean about supporting your people, even if you don't agree with their stance. I'm gonna support your iPhone boycott, Monica. I
Hmm.
will not be participating in that boycott.
No, but there is a. I need to pull him up. There is a brother. He owns a company. I think he's down in Florida, and he has these other cell phones. I'm gonna have to find the link because I do want two phones eventually.
See, girl, why you make me? Why you say it like that? Because the first thing that popped into my mind was Soul Plane. I was like, wait, what you talking about? You said the brother. I mean, I have heard, and I know the brother you're talking about as well, because he's making sure that rural areas
Hmm.
get the Wi-Fi and the coverage, the service that they need. So he's young. He's like under 40.
Right.
He was like a doc. He has a heck of a testimony. So
Hmm.
I like that. But just when you said I'm gonna go get the brother's cell phone, I was like, oh, so you gonna get the soul the soul plane cell phone? Oh Lord. Oh my goodness. But that's not the case. But but yes, I don't blame you. That'll be good. So um going back then to the NAACP awards, I love the categories, like I said, because of the podcasting category. One day it'll be you and I, Monica. We will
Yes,
be
it
on
will.
there. Yes,
Mark
and
our words, people. You know, but people like to be like, it's cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And that's why I want to let everybody know as well that they can actually vote on the NAACP Image Awards, which, like I said, is one of the things that appeals to me most
Right.
about the awards, is that you have the option to decide who you really think deserves that. So go on there and you vote for whoever you want to. Don't go and vote. Forget about it. But if you're gonna vote for Auntie Viola Davis
There'll be a link.
for Woman King, then you go ahead and you follow that link and you go ahead and give that sister
Oh
your vote.
yeah, no, I'm gonna vote for her. She definitely deserves that. Whew, that was.
Yes, and then even the directors, like I love, like just seeing the directors that they have listed. Just it's just wonderful. A Method Man was nominated for some awards. It's just wonderful. So you can find out more about the NAACP
Ooh,
Image Awards, like I
Method
said,
Man.
online.
If he wasn't married, girl.
You and so many people I know, and I am a fan. I am a fan of Method. I'm not gonna forget at all. Mary J.
And he
Blige.
honors his body. He watches what he eats. Girl, anyways, let me stop lusting over him.
Girl, I was like, yeah. I was like, Mary J. Blige is nominated. I know that's your girl. Hello,
Auntie
beautiful. Hello,
Mary.
gorgeous. Yeah, she is
Good
nominated as well.
morning, gorgeous.
So I'm very pumped about that. So that is the NAACP Image Awards. Now let's go to this hot train wreck of a mess called the Academy Awards, aka the Oscars. And this year they're really late in the season. I guess they're not out until March. So yeah, I'm like, okay, you're trying to make sure people don't watch it. March 12th. I was like, by March, you're in March Madness. There are things to do in March. But I guess they might as well put it whenever they want to, because I know that this year, I always say I'm not going to watch, and then I watch a little bit. But this year, I'm not really even that interested.
Mm-mm. I might see highlights coming across social media, but I don't actually sit down and watch the awards like that. I just, like you said, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the hosts are going to be Jimmy Kimmel will be there, but then I guess he had some sidekicks. Like it'll be Jimmy Kimmel and then maybe a couple of other people helping him out or something. I mean, at least last year was interesting with Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes. I mean, it gave you enough variety. The show didn't have to lean on one person. If someone was cringy, then you knew someone else was going to come out for the next segment and make it better. I mean, and other than that whole Will Smith, Chris Rock fiasco, it was a decent show. They kept it flowing. I mean, the jokes were clever. It really helped me appreciate Amy Schumer again. So, I mean, it was good. But this year, I don't know. I'm just not. I don't know. It just doesn't seem as exciting. It's like no pizzazz. And then, like I said, um, Danielle, what was it, Brotweiler, or I'm not messing up her name, but the lady that was in Till didn't get nominated. And I've seen a lot of people who have actually watched the Till movie and thought it
Mm-hmm.
was phenomenal and thought she did a great thing. And also Viola Davis did not get nominated for Woman King. And if you have still not had a
Ooh,
chance, you can
no.
look at it on Prime. You can literally rent it on Prime Video if you for $5.99. I'm gonna
You
tell you
can, or
this.
if you got the
Or
right
so
if you
sister,
got the right homies, you
nope.
can get a
So
link.
sister, nope. So sister, so you guys have an option. Girl, no, 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 no. Go ahead and give Auntie Viola that $5.99. Okay. Don't cheat the sister. That's why I said we've talked about this on the show, girl, too. It's great to get a discount. It's great to get a hookup, but pay the black people what they're worth. If you know that our dollars mean that we'll get to have projects again on the big screen,
Where
or
them
that,
dollars at? Where
yeah,
them dollars at?
go ahead and rent it from Prime. You've written whatever you've written from Prime, so you might as well go ahead and put that $5.99 in there and see a performance. Because, honey, to say that a sister transformed her body at 50 plus years old, you see it there. If you say that a woman can't act, use a lie, because that sister, well, you know how Viola is, honey. Auntie can act, so
Oh yeah,
it was
probably a
brilliant.
couple of weeks ago I was watching her and her husband. They was on like a architect digest, but it was on YouTube. They were showing their
Mm-hmm.
home in California, the beautiful home.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of had like a Tuscany vibes to it, but
Mm.
still with like the Afrocentric art.
Oh wow. I That feels like Viola. Her husband's Southern. She talked about meeting him when she first moved to LA, and
Mm-hmm.
how she didn't call him, but how he was a gentleman, and just I'm like, girl, what God has for you is for you. So
Yeah.
I have to remember that about her being snubbed by the Academy Awards. What she has is for her. For she deserves that award. They try not to give the sister the award, but she deserves She deserves the best actress, and she'll get one before it's all said and done. That's what I believe for Auntie Viola. So, but any other nominations or things? Because I mean, even the album, the song of the year for the Academy Awards for the motion picture song, that didn't even sound nothing about this year's Academy Awards made me go,
Did
oh.
Rihanna get nominated for her song?
For Lift Me Up, I think it
Yeah.
did. I mean,
Oh,
I did.
okay.
I mean, I want to say it did. Let me just verify that as you. Oh, Lift Me Up Academy Awards. I'm like, did it get nominated or did it get snubbed? Because they do like to snub, but I mean, oof, girl. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, so it did get nominated. So, I mean, if Riri goes to the Academy Awards, maybe I will keep checking back and forth to see if she's going to perform because usually they perform the song that's nominated. So maybe I'll just
Right.
check to see. Maybe they'll let her be like Beyonce and get to open it up because, last year, maybe that's why I loved last year so much. Not just the host, but because Beyonce opened it up in
Your girl
yellow.
was there.
In
Yeah.
yellow, girl. She was in Compton, honey, for the King Richard or whatever. Feels good to be
Mm,
alive. Oh
she
my
was in
gosh.
Orisha yellow, but
Oh
moving
girl.
on.
Yeah, oh honey, it was beautiful. I mean, it
Mhm.
was vibrant. It was just happy. Yellow was about about good vibrations, energy, the sun, the healing. It was too much. It was too much brilliance for one Academy Award. So if Riri opens it up, I'll be there. If not, because she is doing the Super Bowl on February 12th. So I think everyone is going to be tuned in to see
Yeah,
that.
of course.
I mean, I don't know who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl yet. We'll decide that this weekend.
Is
I
are your Seahawks going to the Super Bowl? You think that?
did you?
Are they
Oh
gonna make it?
wait, hold on, girl. You about to make me? Wait, hold on. Are you just being funny, or do you seriously? Are you seriously asking me that question?
Both.
Okay, because you're the one that went to a game this season. You about to make me laugh, but you already know that we are out of the playoffs. We did make the wild card against
Okay.
all odds, but we had to go against the 49ers. And yeah, obviously we did. Obviously they're still in it with their quarterback who was like the last pick, and everyone's like, "Oh, Purdy." He says, "Oh, he's so interesting because he was Mr. Irrelevant, like the last person drafted for the NFL draft gets the tag of Mr. Irrelevant, and they're the 49ers have taken so many losses this season. Like their they had a young Trey Lance or no, Trey somebody. Like I said, I'm not a
Mhm.
49ers. He hurt himself. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, the one who had been their quarterback that they put on ice for the new guy, hurts himself. So now they're back. They're down to Mr. Irrelevant, but Mr. Irrelevant is really holding it down for them. So no, this weekend decides it. It'll either be the Eagles or the 49ers. And just because the 49ers are kind of like our division rivals, it's really hard for me to be like, oh, I'm cheering for the 49ers. I mean, if I was, it'd be just the West Coast thing.
Right.
But the reality is the 49ers been talking trash about Philly. And I kind of like Jalen Hurts, the Phillies quarterback. So in my heart, I'm like, Philly, do your thing. Because I have watched the Seahawks trump and beat down Philly, so I won't feel so bad if they get a win. And then it's the Bengals for the AFC. It's going to be the Bengals versus Kansas City Chiefs, and so you don't even have to ask me about that. I'm all for young Joe. There's something about quarterbacks named Joe in the NFL. They usually have all kinds of swag and they are really sexy. I'm thinking about Uncle Joe Namath, but and that fur coat that he likes to pull out during Super Bowl time. Oh my gosh.
Girl, I'm
Uh,
like, who?
uh,
Who? I don't know.
yeah, no, he's a retired famous quarterback. But anyway, but young Joe Burrow is the quarterback for the Bengals, and I'm gonna tell you, he's a white boy with swag. You heard me say it. He Kelchi also has swag, and he's the only reason why, and Andy Reid, why I kind of look at Kansas City like, yay, but no. I want the Bengals to do their thing. And normally they've had a good record. So I want them to continue their winning streak against Kansas City. And I would like it to be the Eagles and the Bengals. But we will see. Like I said, I really don't have any skin in this game because the Seahawks are not in it. So it is what it is, you know?
Mhm.
I like the way he said. He said I was only being sarcastic. Well, now you know, Monica. Seahawks are done, and I hope to say the 49ers are done too. So, so moving right along. Now, Monica, is there anything else that I'm forgetting to mention in this kind of wonderful um, third, fourth week of January?
So on my way to the airport, I picked up, I still like to get magazines. Since they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a Essence magazine or a decent Essence magazine, I wasn't paying $10 for Essence magazine.
Okay, thank you.
They had the Seattle Business magazine.
Oh.
And this is for January, February 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a must read. It's a Seattle's most influential people.
Mm.
And then in it, Tawana Nobles, our senator, she has a write up in here as one of the influential people. So check it out. There's it shows like the 100 best companies to work for in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across another lady.
Well, who are the top? I'm just curious. The 100 best companies to work for in Washington. When I'm always telling people my spiel about Washington and why Washington is amazing and why there's too many people who want to come up here because we're amazing and all these great
Mhm.
companies that we have, I want to know are the top 5 that I always shout out on the list. So do you have that? If you can pull that up, I would appreciate
Well,
that
they
because
have categorized either in small, mid-size, or large companies.
I want large. I like
So
Fortune 500. I want to have my
the
benefits.
large companies. So those ones, let's see here. Large companies, and these are like I've never heard of any of these companies except for the let me see here, the third one. So the first one is Icertis,
Okay.
if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's technology based in
Okay.
Bellevue. And then there's Nine Tech,
Mm.
technology based in Bellevue again.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Jones, insurance company.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that insurance or investing? Okay.
Investing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4, Mutual of Enaclaw Insurance Company.
Mm.
And number 5, Spur Reply Consulting in Bellevue. And that was the top 5 for the large
Large
companies in
companies.
Washington. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry. None of the ones I guess people said F Amazon, F Boeing, F. I mean,
Oh
wow.
no, when I looked on the list, I didn't see any of those.
Those.
Yeah,
Did you
no.
see T-Mobile?
Let me see
Did you see
here.
Lumen? Did you see Nordstrom? Did you see Expedia? I mean, like,
No Nordstrom. See here, medium size. And nope. Let me just switch the page real quick to small. Most of these are construction, technology, advertising, or technology or financial services. And a lot of them are based in like Issaquah, Seattle, or Bellevue. Yeah,
okay.
the normal Amazon, Starbucks,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I even forgot about
Nordstrom's.
Starbucks. Yeah.
Nope,
Wow.
those are not listed on in this
In this magazine. Oh wow, you know
nope.
what? It lets people know that there is money and life inside of Washington that are not
Right.
the big 5. Because see, I feel like the big 5 in Seattle. You said them, Starbucks. Anyway, yeah. We all know the retailers that are major, but hey, I guess there's room for
Mm-mm.
new kings and new queens in the industry. So
There was like one
wow.
nonprofit housing connector based out of Seattle.
Mm. Well,
But
that's
yeah.
something you definitely need in
But I was
in
like, this is a good
Seattle.
list to research all these different companies if you're, going into those fields. I was like, ooh, I was like, I'm gonna keep this, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? For reference.
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting. I'll say that's an interesting airport find.
Well, I mean, technically I got it from Walgreens before I actually went to the airport because it would have been probably $20 at the airport.
Well, yeah, I think you're definitely right, Monica, about the cost of how crazy the markup is at the airports for magazines and things. I was going to say the only thing they seem to want you to be able to get for a good rate is liquor.
Exactly.
I was like, but everything else you're paying a little bit more, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Getting it at the airport. Well, I guess it depends on the airport too, because we've been to some big airports that have, you can find some good deals when things are on sale, depending on the airport. But in your case, at SeaTac, you did the right thing. You did the right
Exactly.
thing. Yeah, you did the right thing. Well, that was fascinating, girl. It's always good to catch up with you, especially on pop culture and on things that are interesting that are happening in our world. I wish everyone, all of you fine, wonderful people, a great week ahead. And Monica, why don't you just give us the last word?
What are my last words? I be forgetting sometimes.
Okay, that's good. That means the conversation was on point. You're like, wait, I forgot what I even had planned to say.
Oh, I was gonna just a reminder if anyone's interested. There is a home and garden show at the Tacoma Dome this weekend.
Oh, I mean, okay. I that is a good honey. That is a good show to go to. Get some ideas, get some inspiration. Even if you don't feel like you got a home or a garden, go so that when you do have your home or your garden, you know what to plant, you know what you want to do, you know what to look for, you
I
know.
mean, you networking. There's gonna be people there. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You never know who you run into.
girl, I believe it because last year you had so much fun at the car show. So it's like, don't limit yourself. Think outside of the box. If you do want to go to something and you're like, well, I want to do something new,
Mm-hmm.
why not? I mean, it's kind of like getting to go on those tours. You know, like people go on like apartment tours. Like I'd
Right.
love to go look at open houses or apartment tours just to see, like, ooh, that's cute. Ooh, man, I want that.
Me
One
and
day,
my mother
Lord.
went on a few years ago. We went on a historical Tacoma historical home tour. It was fascinating. It was nice.
That's why I said there's always something to do in your city. So get
Yes.
out and try something new. Whether you're in the Northwest, the Southwest, the East Coast, in another country, there's always something to do in your country. So have a good time, be safe, and enjoy yourself. And until we are chatting again, Monica, where can they find us again?
They can find us on Anchor, Spotify, and now iTunes.
Mm,
And please like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment. You can shoot us an email or a voice message if you'd
mhm,
like.
mhm.
And with all that, love and gratitude.
Remember to call your aunties or your girlfriends and say hi. Bye.